What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Blab. I appreciate you stopping by. And without further ado, let's blab. Before I hop into it, get it on the ground floor of Blab. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. On the road to 300. Let's get into it. So, I will read what Notify said. I do think it is very interesting and informative information. And then we'll just talk about it. Tell you what I think, what the future holds, etc., etc. So, Notify writes, news update. Pokemon Center Japan has issued an official press release today via their website confirming that major changes have taken place to their prohibited acts policy. Specifically, botting on their site or the use of automation software starting 10/28/2025 will result in the termination of user accounts and order cancellations. So, what do I think about this? How will it affect the Japanese market? How will it affect the US market? Let's talk about it. So first, what I find very interesting is off the rip, it says they're going to be terminating users' accounts. It is my understanding that the massive amount of botting is essentially creating dummy accounts. So I don't think people are going to really care like, oh, they're suspending or they're terminating user accounts. While that sounds great in theory, oh, great, all the botters, everybody, as soon as they get caught, they'll be tossed out. I don't think that's actually how it's going to work. I think, in fact, Pokemon has shown that they are reckless in the way that they combat botting. And most of the time, the bots are able to get through, confirm many purchases, and it is actually collectors or small-time investors that are waiting in line that get kicked out for an error 17, or they clicked the wrong thing, or instead of going into the website and clicking the item, they just click a link to an item, so they're a bot. Really, I see this, and obviously this is all speculation of something like this coming to the English market. Obviously, I do not buy Japanese items. I am not Japanese. I don't live in Japan. So, if this came to the US market, I do think that instead of actually progressing in the fight against bots, this would actually just have a bad effect on regular people trying to get product. I see regular people having their account suspended, having their account terminated, and I don't think it's a good look. I think that Pokemon can do a lot of better things that I can just think of off the top of my head to combat botting, as opposed to arbitrarily kind of being the judge, jury, and executioner of what is a bot, because they've already proven that they cannot do that. I've never used botting software. I've never even used Notify. And I've been kicked out with error 17 messages on Notify or on Pokemon Center. I've been kicked out, IP banned, all of this crazy stuff. And I've never done anything that a normal, regular collector trying to get one item would try to do. So that's my first thoughts. My second thought is I find it interesting that they're doing any sort of press release for this. Now, I cannot actually confirm. I can't get onto, Pokemon Japanese website. So I can't confirm this. However, there are other people other than Notify on Instagram, on other platforms that have come out with this information. So what I'm saying is I find it interesting that there's any sort of quote-unquote press release or statement done on Pokemon Center Japan, because in the past there's been this almost like fake statements that have come out from Pokemon Center International, Pokemon Center in America, in English. There's been like fake statements that have come out about anti-botting and things like that. So it's weird to me that they would make any sort of statement on bots. It's weird to me that they would even acknowledge that there are bots, even though everybody knows they're there, right? 5 million people in line, in queue. It just doesn't make any sense. And 5 million people in queue for X item, and then for Y item, there's 1.5 million in queue, even though Y item is much more sought after. So just stuff that doesn't make sense. It's pretty clear that there are botters. There is software out there that you can buy to bot, very similar to software that I got in middle school to backdoor, Jordans. Like it's straight up the exact same thing. So I don't know. I think, like I said, this is just going to blow back on regular collectors, small time investors, as opposed to any of these massive botting rings. If you think people that are botting really truly care about their one Pokemon Center account that's connected to their address and their, you know, email account. They don't. These are people and organizations that use dummy accounts. It's just the facts. Um, Other than that, do I think this is coming to the U.S.? No, because I think it's going to be a mess. If it's real, it's going to be a mess in Japan. We're just a few short days, short weeks away from major releases in Japan that I'm sure if this is rolled out, regular people are going to be getting blocked, banned, terminated, whatever you want to call it. I also find it interesting that this is going into effect on the 28th. Seems kind of arbitrary. You let me know in the comments what Japanese product is releasing around then or after then or whatever. Um, at the end of the day, I don't want to be like a doomer gloomer, but this is not it from Pokemon. I've said a million times. I think Pokemon should open the floodgates, let everybody in from a queue, essentially do a raffle system. Everyone goes into the queue, they hit, enter a raffle, and then maybe a week later, Pokemon sends you an email if you're able to purchase the item. I know it's kind of an insane concept. Like everyone's clamoring for the right to purchase an item, but that's how it's happened with major streetwear brands, with sneakers, with highly desirable, arbitrageable items. That's how it's happened in the past. So I think they open it up, they let everybody in that you can hit join raffle, and then a week later they send you an email letting you know if you can buy it. And this way they have a full week to go through all of the accounts. They can get rid of all of the accounts that they believe are bots. They have all the time in the world, right? Even if they say enter the raffle for, at the end of Mega Evolution, MEO1, you enter the raffle for Phantasmal Flames. It gives them like a month to 6 weeks to go through all of the submissions, get rid of the ones they think are bots, and frankly, if they even suspect that it's a bot, they can get rid of it, right? Because nobody knows how they're actually going to do the raffle, right? Like that would all be behind the scenes. So even if they were suspect of an account, they can just boot it, and they just don't win that raffle. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I know I'm not clicking around here. I'm just kind of focused on this Pokenotify and blabbing your ear off. If you made it to the end of this blab, definitely hit me in the comments. I always love to chop it up in the comments. I do also think it's crazy that you were staring at a screen and watching me blab, but that is part of the community, right? Like, we're all part of the Pokemon community. Everybody likes to get everybody else's perspectives. I like to get other people's perspectives. Now, do I make money moves based on random people on the internet? Absolutely not. I have my own conviction, just like everybody else should. But I like to be in the community, talking to other people, seeing what they think, seeing their thoughts, and that's really it. Most of the videos I make really for myself. In 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, I'd like to see where I'm at in the hobby, what I'm thinking, why I'm thinking it, why I was right, why I was wrong, what I can change, how I can invest here, how I can enjoy the hobby there. Anyway, appreciate y'all stopping by, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Also, I apologize. I know it's been like 3 or 4 days since I posted a video. Trying to pump them out more, but at the end of the day, like, I'm just not trying to post what everybody else has already been posting. It gets boring to me. But anyway, like, comment, and subscribe. See y'all in the next video.